Welcome to Screen Recaps, and today we are going to recapping the movie And Your Mother Too. At the start of the movie, we are introduced to Tenoch and Anna, an intimate teenage couple. Anna is leaving for Italy soon, so the pair spend time together before her departure. Tenoch asks Anna to promise not to sleep with any other men while she is gone, and he vows the same faithfulness to her. We also meet Tenoch's best friend Julio and Julio's girlfriend Cecilia, who will be joining Anna on the trip to Italy. Julio and Cecilia are shown being intimate as well before leaving for the airport. There, Tenoch and Julio say goodbye to their girlfriends. An interesting contrast is set up between the two male leads. Tenoch comes from a wealthy family, while Julio is middle class. However, the two are close friends who will be spending time together in the absence of their girlfriends. Tenoch and his friend have a fun time together. A few days later, they attend Tenoch's sister's wedding. There, they meet Lucia, a beautiful woman, and try flirting with her. Lucia reveals that she knew Tenoch as a child. She is actually his cousin Heinz's wife. Despite this, the two continue their flirtatious behavior. Lucia tells them she plans to visit a beach in the coming days. Eager to impress her, Tenoch lies that he and his friend will be at a secluded, beautiful beach called Heaven's Mouth. In reality, no such place exists. They invite Lucia along, but she declines. That night, Lucia receives an emotional call from Heinz, confessing he made a mistake and was intimate with another woman while drunk. Though apologetic, this news upsets Lucia. After hearing this upsetting news over the phone, Lucia disconnects and starts crying. The next morning, she calls Tenoch and asks if she can join him and Julio at the beach. Tenoch agrees, so Lucia gives him her address and asks him to pick her up. Tenoch tells Julio they're going to the beach with Lucia. Neither of them know which beach would be uncrowded, but they ask their friend Saba for advice anyway before leaving with Lucia. On the drive, they all chat and get to know one another, talking about their girlfriends, sex lives, and more. That evening at the hotel, Lucia claims their girlfriends went to Italy to meet more attractive men. However, Tenoch and Julio do not react to this, trusting their girlfriends would not cheat. The two then ask Lucia about James and whether he's had affairs. Lucia grows silent, recently having learned of Jane's infidelity herself. Sometime later, Tenoch and Julio peek into Lucia's room, expecting she may be undressed. Instead, they find her crying alone inside. The next day, they returned to the beach. Lucia asked Tenoch and Julio why they had peered into her room the previous night. The boys then inquired if Lucia had ever had a boyfriend before Jane. Lucia revealed that she did have a former boyfriend with whom she had first become intimate. She had spent considerable time with him and wanted to live together, but he tragically died in an accident. Lucia later married Hino. Lucia began probing Tenoch about the physical intimacy in his relationship, speaking openly. The three of them started conversing. That evening, they checked into a hotel. Lucia called Hino, leaving a message that she was leaving him for good and would never return. After the call, Lucia went to her room and cried. Tenoch then came to her room looking for shampoo, wearing only a towel. Lucia asked him to remove the towel, and he did. The two became intimate as Julio witnessed through the door. Julio grew jealous. Later, when Tenoch came to see him, Julio admitted he too had been intimate with Tenoch's girlfriend once before. Hearing this, Tenoch is very upset and angrily confronts Julio that evening about when and where the intimacy happened. They have a long, heated debate, and Tenoch says he no longer considers Julio a friend. The next day, they all leave for the beach. Lucia realizes the two had fought and figures out Julio is jealous that she was intimated with Tenoch. She takes advantage of Julio's sadness and gets intimated with him in the back seat. Tenoch is unhappy about this and stops the car to get out. After becoming intimate, Lucia goes to Tenoch and asks why they're fighting, saying she knows they both wanted intimacy with her, which is why they brought her on the trip. As they drive, Tenoch reveals he too was once intimated with Julio's girlfriend. Julio gets angry hearing this, and the two start fighting again. Julio stops the car this time and tells Tenoch to get out. Upset seeing all this, Lucia says they're fighting like dogs. She gathers her things and starts to leave. Tenoch reveals that he and Julio have both been intimate with each other's girlfriends, putting them in the same difficult situation. Tenoch then apologizes. The two convince Lucia to get in the car with them, but only after she makes them promise not to fight and says she will only be intimate with them under those conditions. As evening falls, Julia has no idea when they will actually reach the beach as they continue aimlessly driving. Later that night, Julia gets the car stuck in the sand down an unpaved road. They have to spend the entire night in the car. The next morning, Lucia wakes up and sees they have ended up at a beach. Tenoch and Julio set up a campsite there. Lucia relaxes and sunbathes for a while. Later, a local fisherman and his family arrive, cook for them, and offer to give them a tour of the area's beaches. The following day, they go with the fisherman's family to a beach called Heaven's Mouth. To their surprise, Julio and Tenoch start laughing when they hear the name of the beach because earlier they had jokingly suggested it as a destination. The two friends seem to be reconnecting and having fun together. When they return to their campsite that night, they discover it has been ransacked by pigs. The three then go to spend the night in a nearby village with a fisherman's family. Lucia calls her distant husband again, already aware of his infidelity and history of cheating. She says a final goodbye, hangs up, and begins to cry. The three start drinking heavily and become very intoxicated. Tenoch admits he has slept with Julio's girlfriend multiple times, and Julio confesses the same about Tenoch's girlfriend, blaming the infidelity on drunkenness. Julio also says he has been intimate with Tenoch's mother. He does not take these betrayals seriously. Afterward, Lucia plays music and all three dance together. After the dance, Lucia invites Tenoch and Julio to her room, where she seduces them both. They become intimate together, with Tenoch and Julio even kissing each other. The next morning, Tenoch and Julio wake up naked. Recalling the previous night's events, Tenoch rushes outside to vomit. Julio tells Lucia they must leave now to return his sister's car. Tenoch also says his parents will be waiting for him since they hadn't told anyone where they were going or who they were with. Lucia says they can both go as she wants to stay at the beach a few more days. Tenoch and Julio pack up and head home, while Lucia goes to the ocean for a swim. When they return from Italy, their girlfriends break up with them. About a year later, Tenoch and Julio run into each other and go to a cafe. They catch up on life, and Tenoch asks if Julio has heard anything about Lucia, but he hasn't. Tenoch reveals to Lucia that she has died from late-stage cancer. Lucia knew about her terminal illness, but did not tell anyone, instead choosing to spend her final days enjoying the beach. A month after arriving, Tenoch and Julio leave for work, never seeing each other again.
I thought I was doing